Okay, think about this for a second. We're all using AI every single day, right? It's in our chatbots, our navigation apps, it's everywhere. And it's getting better at this incredible, almost unbelievable speed. But have you ever just stopped to ask what happens if this trend just keeps going? What's the actual end game if AI just keeps getting smarter and smarter? Well, let's really dive into that.
Now, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. In 2023, the very people building this stuff, I'm talking top AI scientists, Nobel Prize winners, even the CEOs of OpenAI and Google DeepMind, they all signed this statement. They put the risk from AI right up there with nuclear war. I mean, that is a massive, massive claim. So, you have to ask the question, how on earth do we get from a helpful tool like ChatGPT to something that could actually threaten all of humanity? It feels like a crazy leap, right? But for a lot of experts, there's a direct, maybe even predictable path.
So what is this path that has everyone so worried? It's often called the default path. Basically, it's what's likely to happen if we just keep doing what we're doing, barreling ahead without solving some really fundamental safety problems first. You know, the pace of progress here has been absolutely staggering. I mean, just a few years back, AI couldn't string together a decent sentence. Now, it's acing PhD-level exams. If this trend line continues, we're not just talking about small upgrades. We are sprinting toward two enormous milestones. First, artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And then, artificial superintelligence, or ASI.
So let's talk about that first domino to fall, AGI. This isn't just another tech upgrade. This could be one of the most significant turning points in the entire history of life on Earth. So what even is an AGI? Well, the simple way to think about it is an AI that can do any intellectual task on a computer that a human being can. So not just one thing, like playing chess. I mean, everything. Running a company, writing a groundbreaking research paper, you name it. It's a generalist, not a specialist.
Of course, a lot of people are skeptical we'll ever get to AGI. You usually hear two main arguments. The first one's kind of philosophical. Are these AIs really thinking, or are they just fancy word predictors? And the second one's more practical. Maybe progress will just plateau. Maybe we'll hit a wall and some things will just always be too hard for AI. But here's the thing. When it comes to the risks we're talking about, it doesn't really matter if an AI understands chess in the same way a human does. What matters is that it can beat the best human player in the world every single time. See, when it comes to real-world impact, capability is what counts, not consciousness. And on the capability front, AI just keeps getting more and more powerful.
And this is where things get really wild. This is the second and most critical domino. Because once an AI gets smart enough, once it reaches that general level of intelligence, it can start doing something no other tool in history has ever done. It can start improving itself. And that could kick off what's called an intelligence explosion.
Think about this powerful feedback loop. We're already seeing hints of it, right? AI is helping us build better AIs. But imagine when an AGI can do the whole job by itself, designing new computer chips, writing the code, running the experiments. That cycle would start spinning faster and faster, completely outside of our control. Each AI generation would build its own smarter successor, and the timeline for breakthroughs would shrink from years to months to maybe days, or even hours.
This runaway train of self-improvement leads us to the final domino, and this is where the risk becomes, well, truly existential. This is artificial superintelligence, or ASI.
Okay, so an ASI isn't just smarter than you or me, it's an intelligence that is more capable than all 8 billion of us combined. The intellectual gap between us and an ASI would be, well, we can't even comprehend it. It'd be like the gap between us and an ant.
And that gap would open up incredibly fast. Just think about it for a second. You can't just copy-paste a human brain, but you could copy an AI millions of times. It thinks at the speed of electricity, not the slow pace of our neurons. And any little improvement one copy makes can be instantly shared with all the other copies. It could evolve in ways we simply couldn't track or keep up with.
So, the danger here isn't necessarily that the AI will be malicious or hate us. That's not the point. Think about it this way. When we build a skyscraper, we don't hate the ants in the anthill that we just paved over. We don't even think about them. We just have goals that are so far beyond their comprehension that they, unfortunately, just happen to be in the way. For a superintelligence, humanity could be that anthill.
And that brings us to the heart of the problem. Why is this default path so incredibly risky? because we have absolutely no proven way to control something that is vastly more intelligent than we are. In the AI safety world, this is called the control problem, or the alignment problem.
What's really alarming is that we're already failing to control systems that are much, much dumber than us. We put all these safety guardrails on today's AI models, and people find ways around them in minutes. We can't even fully understand their black box decision-making. So if we can't even manage this, how in the world could we hope to control a system that can outthink and outplan every single human on the planet?
So here's the most crucial point of all. This future isn't set in stone. We are not doomed. But we are at a crossroads, a really critical one, and we have to make a very conscious choice about which path we're going to take.
The path we're on right now, it's a reckless race to the bottom. You've got companies and entire countries sprinting to be the first to build the most powerful AI, and safety often feels like an afterthought. The alternative is simple to say, but really hard to do. We need to slow down. We have to prioritize solving this control problem before we build something we can't control.
And that's really the bottom line here. It feels like we are in a car, speeding towards a cliff's edge. The incentives to go even faster are enormous, but right now, there's no global agreement, no mechanism to even tap the brakes, let alone steer the car in a safer direction.
Look, we are on the verge of creating what will undoubtedly be the most powerful invention in all of history. The question we all need to start asking, and asking seriously, is whether we are taking the steps necessary to make sure it isn't also our last. The choice, for now, is still ours. But that window is closing. Fast.